All right, let's talk about pattern making. So we're here in the shop. I had to make I decided to make, I don't really have to, but I decided to make a new pattern for these Bret Hart style tights that I'm working on. I got a customer that he gets different Bret Hart themed tights, like from different pay-per-views and different years and everything else. So we had this pattern here that I hand drew this pattern out for the most part for the flames that go down the legs. So it wasn't as symmetrical on both sides as I would have liked, but that was kind of for a reason. The next designs, he sends me like 3 or 4 at a time and says just make them when you can, month to month, whatever. I'll do one a month for him typically. That's how he likes to order his. So that way each month he has a new set of tights. I love that, by the way. But one thing I've started doing, I've been doing it for a while, but I've really gotten more into learning how to do it, is using my Cricut and my die cutter, my Cricut maker, to help make patterns. So he sent me the designs, and these were more symmetrical. So what I did, I put my design in the software, which I'll do a thing over that, how I did it step by step on another video. But I got that set up and then put the measurements in for his tights for the length and the width that I wanted the design to be. And then I had it cut it out on poster board. Okay? Now here's the thing, you look at this. This is long. This is almost 40 inches because that's how long it's going to go down his hip. He's got long legs. But the length that a Cricut can cut maximum is 23.5 on a mat for the one that I have. Now if you have a Venture or something, you can do this in one shot. But, so what I did, because these last 12, 14 inches are going to be in his boot. You're not going to see this at all. So there's no point in having some crazy design down the side, and I wanted to maximize his design and make it look as close as possible to what he sent me. So I sized it. Good thing with Cricut Design Space is you can scale everything pretty good. And here's the outside part, well, inside part, because this design is going to be a little different. So I had the Cricut cut out the pieces. You can see the tape here. This is 23 inches of it. Now the top is going to be where the waistband is. So this is going to be an extra 2 inches up here that's just going to fold over anyway. So I don't need that. So I wasn't worried about that. I just added 2 inches to my pattern for his waistband. Did that on both of them. And then down here, I added another like 13 or 14 inches to go down. I wanted to leave about a ½ inch for the hem because I didn't want all this bulky material in the hem. I can just flip it up and it's not triple layered over and crazy thick. Gives it a little bit more stretch. And I just taped this part and then I hand drew the rest of the lines the way I wanted it. I put a little curve into it. I could have done it straight, but I did put a little bit of a curve into it. And I did that on both of these. So then when we line them up and layer them, everything lines up. And you can do this one of 2 ways. You can have the Cricut draw the pattern out, and then you can hand cut it, and that way if you want to make any little adjustments along the way you can. I just had it cut this out. This is just regular school style poster board. I just had it cut it out itself, so I didn't have to do that extra step. Because I had the design rendered clean enough, and then once I trace this, I can make any little adjustments on the tracing that I want. Now what I'll do with this is, I'll take this, I use Pellon Wonder Under, the 805 Wonder Under. You can buy it in big bolts, pretty good price. I'll trace this onto this. Now, since this is a symmetrical pattern, it doesn't matter which way I trace it. And bond it to my fabric and cut it out. Bond it with an iron. His also had this little stripe right here. There's going to be 2 of these that go down the sides, down the front. Be one on this side and then one over here on this side, if that makes sense. So it'll be 2 black stripes. This big piece will be black. This will be white. 2 black stripes going down it, and then there's a design that goes down the middle of it. This one's kind of a complex set of tights. All the Bret Hart ones are the same theme, but we changed the logos, we changed this, we changed that. So it's a complex set, but once you break it down in chunks, it's not bad. And maximizing your Cricut and your hardware and your software really helps. So if you're making patterns and you're getting frustrated, take your render, put it in your design space, and break it down like this, and you can use that to cut out really good clean patterns. I mean, that cut really clean. You don't need a special blade, nothing like that. It's just poster board. You can use the standard, fine point blade that's in there. It even cut this out. Now be careful with these thin strips on your poster board, because if you're not careful when they come off, they will rip. I use a standard grip mat, but be careful. You might want to use a light grip mat and then maybe tape it down. I like the standard grip mat because mine are a little worn down. If you have a new mat, be careful, because sometimes it will get stuck and it'll rip your paper. And then I use masking tape on mine to piece whatever extra length or parts together, because I can draw over top of this. And it holds up pretty good, and it's a little flexible. You can reinforce your pattern later however you want, but just a quick tip on that one. Use your Cricut, help you make some patterns. I'll do an on-screen video later on and go through how I did this. Depending on how clean your design is, can make a big difference. He sends me pretty clean renders of the designs, so that makes it easier. The colors are broken up really good. So design space is a little flaky. So when you're working with it, you have limited tools, but it can separate colors, and that's all you really need sometimes with this. If you want, you can do your SVGs and designs in Inkscape and then transfer them over and then resize them, because you're still going to probably want to resize them. But if you're good with Inkscape or any kind of vector drawing program, you can do the same thing in there too and break the colors down into the individual layers and then transfer it, and it'll really do a lot of the work for you. And then later on, if you want, you can do the same thing. And if you have a design that'll fit on the mat, you can even use the rotary blade and have it cut the fabric and everything for you. Just bond it first, put it on there. It'll cut all this out for you. Save you a whole lot of work and time. I like to do a lot of mine by hand. That's just the way I am. But if you're in a rush or you want to up production, it's a great way to save a lot of time. Because it probably would have took me a good hour or more to draw this out, make sure it was right, cut it, measure it, and everything else. I can do it on here in 20 minutes, because I've got used to doing it. Maybe 30, depending on how fast my machine's cutting and how bad the render is. So, just a quick tip from the shop.